All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing, salutation, and hopefully out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, is dealing with, moving in the spirit, in the imperfect society. Okay, moving in the spirit in the imperfect society, man. Because we have to understand, all right, we've been awakened to this truth. We all came, from darkness, man, and we exist, in the culture of imperfection. All right, we exist, all right, in a society, that bred on confusion and disorder. Okay, so when we awake to righteousness, we already, have certain things going on, all right, that are imperfect, you know, and Yahweh Shai is dealing with us in our imperfection, and He's beginning to perfect us. All right, and what we have to understand, this is even though we've been converted to righteousness, the society is still imperfect. And that's the whole point of us waiting on Yahweh Shai to come and establish righteousness in the earth. Because like the scriptures say, we thirst for righteousness, man. All right. So as we been converted from darkness, okay, the mindset of this society to the mindset of Yahweh Shai and righteousness, you know, we have to understand, you know, that's part of the patience and faith of the saints is waiting for the Lord to turn the whole earth righteous, man. Because we still have to exist, in this imperfect society as we strive for righteousness. And we have to understand that we have to move in the spirit. Everything is not going to be, exactly how we want it to be. Everything is not going to move, all right, how we want it to move in righteousness, man. Okay? So we have to understand these things, man. All right? Let me try to tilt this a little bit. Yep. So we have to understand these things in the spirit, okay, and just move, all right, to the best of our ability in our circumstances, man. All right, so I want to start getting some precepts and I want to get some examples. All right, now, um, let's start here in the book of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 9. All right, now we got to understand the setting of the Gospels. This is in the height of the Roman Empire. This is when Rome had its most influence. This is when Rome, was its strongest militarily, financially, during the time of Yahushua. So Yahushua, all right, was teaching in the peak of the Roman Empire. Okay? Just as we're in America. All right. So you had things going on. All right. You had Israelites that was intermingled because Judea was a province of Rome. Okay, they were tributaries to Rome. Roman culture was all around them. The Roman influence was all around them. Okay, the economy of Judea was intermingled with the economy of the Romans. Okay, job opportunities. Okay, that's one thing about Rome when they will conquer, a new territory. You will be able to have job opportunities in Rome. Okay, so we have to understand that Yahushua was teaching in the midst of these things, man. The same circumstances that we exist in today, Yahushua was teaching the gospel in the midst of all that, man. Of all this that we live in today. Okay? So you go to Matthew 9 and 9, it says, and Yahushua passed forth from thence. He saw a man named Matthew sitting at the receipt of custom, and he said unto him, follow me. And he arose and followed him. Okay? So Matthew was a tax collector. Okay? There was a job of Rome. Okay? There was a Roman job that he had. All right, but Yahweh Shai, all right, told him to do what? Follow him. He became a disciple. Okay, so of course it wasn't the ideal scenario. Okay, but Yahushua didn't deal with ideal scenarios. He deal, and he's gonna go back from just reading. It says, and when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, now verse 10 it says, and it came to pass as Yahushua said at meat in the house, behold, many publicans and sinners came in and sat down with him and his disciples. Okay, and when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? But when Yahushua heard that, he said unto them, they that behold need not a physician, but they that are sick. Okay? Oh. All right. So Yahushua was telling them, like, look, I come for those that are sick. Okay, those because go to a sick because if you whole, that means you're complete, you're perfect. Okay, but if you're sick, that means you're imperfect. There's something imperfect going on. And we all come from these different walks of life, okay, that had us sick in the spirit. Okay, and that's what Yahushua was dealing with. So Yahushua, when he came, he was coming to deal with Jake in their imperfection, man, in the peak of the Roman Empire. Just like he came and dealt with us in the spirit, he came to us in spirit in the peak of the new Rome. Okay, so you had different environments. Yahushua would be in these different environments of imperfection, man. Okay, and he planted the seed that what that will grow into perfection. Like all of us, the Lord Yahushua planted the seed in his believers that's growing into perfection. Okay, and then he's going to perfect the earth when he come and conquer the earth in righteousness, man. you know. But in the meantime, we have to know how to walk in the spirit within this within this imperfect society. Okay, it says, "But go ye and learn what this meaneth." This is Matthew 9:13. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I'm not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. Okay, and we all come from all these different walks of life, man. As you go to 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, okay, this 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, okay, know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Be not deceived, neither fornicators, neither idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the Most High. And such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, and by the Spirit of our power. So, Apostle Paul, you got to think he's writing to these Corinthians. Okay, he's letting them know, all right, you can't continue on in those certain lifestyles. All right, those lifestyles, all right, are going to get you destroyed. You're going to be judged and punished. Okay, but we gotta be washed by this word because that's why Apostle Paul, such were some of you. He named all those things, but he said such were some of you. So that lets you know that the believers are going to come from all walks of life. And it's not going to be the ideal situation every time, man. That's why you're going to have, you know, um, uh, uh, um, some brothers. All right, the Lord, you know, add a woman to their situation that's a believer, and she probably gonna have some children already. That's not the ideal situation, okay? That's not that's not the ideal situation for a man. Like if a man had to choose, he wouldn't that wouldn't be his option, okay? But it's above us, So you're gonna have the Lord, as the Lord is pairing spirits together for the sake of salvation. You're gonna have particular imperfections, man. Okay, because we're all coming, from the belly of the beast, man. Okay, new Rome. So you're gonna have these things that's out of our control, but the Lord called us to repentance. Okay, so we just got to deal from where we at. All right, now every situation might vary. Okay, like I say, some women, some brothers, hey, some brothers, women, okay, are just here for the moment. Okay, but then there's some, brothers that the Lord joined a believing woman to that brother, and she's here to be delivered. Okay, and then there's imperfections that come with these things, and we gotta learn how to move in the spirit with these imperfections, man. Okay, I say it's not going to be the ideal, family of the Israelite family of the Old Testament. Like that ideal situation, all right, has been destroyed through Westernization, man. All right, it is hard to get there. You have some situations where it's like that, man. You know, with a brother, and his woman and all their children, it's their children, no outside children. Like you have certain situations like that, but every situation not gonna be like that, man. Okay, just giving an example. All right, so let's go from there because we got to remember we're under the rulership of Esau Edom, and what has this man done? All right, with his rulership, man. Isaiah 29 and 16, it says, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he have no understanding? So this devil has turned everything upside down in society, man. And we come out of the midst of that, okay, of an upside down, backward society. All right, and just because we change, the society hasn't changed. Okay, so we don't want to, okay, try to have an over righteous spirit and force things to be a particular way when they're just not how it's set up. Okay, and we're going to go into that because the Lord, you understand, with the ministry, the Lord has everyone strategically where He wants them to be. He has you matched with a certain person, all right. Whether it's for salvation or whether it's temporal, he has you matched with a certain purpose, or with a certain purpose. So like he has you matched with a certain person for a particular purpose for the time being. You know, he has you, and he has every believer strategically, all right, in a position within society, all right, for the purpose of the ministry, man. And we're gonna go into those things, man. Okay, so let's get this. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. All right. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7. I started 16, and it says, "Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself?" Okay? So the scriptures is giving us a balance. That's one thing about it. We have to have a balance. And one thing about moving in the spirit, we learn balance, man. Because we all come into this thing off balance, man. You know? And we have the zeal, but we don't have the balance. All right. We do particular things that be off, arguing and, you know, cutting up unnecessarily. Then we learn balance. But then, you know, we get to certain parts, within our walk, where we, um, we can be, pretty much we can overthink things, and we have to apply balance. You know, we have to apply balance. Like it's always going to be situations where, balance is going to have to be brought in. You can feel a certain way, you can think a certain way, you can try to force a certain thing, but then you have to apply balance to the situation, and that's moving in the spirit. Okay, so it said, "Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time?" So it's a balance, because we can't be over righteous. Okay, well, we put ourselves in these unnecessary, difficult predicaments by trying to be over righteous, man, by trying to mimic something in the scriptures that we can't do in this current setup. Remember, we in captivity. There's certain things done in the scriptures that we can't mimic because we're in the captivity. You see, and we have to be mindful of that, man. All right, but then we can't be too. We can't just be wilding out because we got certain liberties. We can't just wild out and destroy ourselves neither. We're going to get that. Okay, now I'm gonna read verse 18 in uh in the NLT. Ecclesiastes 7:18 said, "Pay attention to these instructions, for anyone who fears the Most High will avoid both extremes. Will avoid both extremes, man. Okay, so you don't want to be too laxed, to where you just worldly as hell and you just feeding your flesh because you got certain liberties. Okay, you just doing too much in the world, and you don't want to be over righteous to where you become your own stumbling block, man, by trying to mimic something in the scriptures. And you can have good intent. Okay, one thing about being over righteous, like you sincerely have a good intent, because we want to please the Lord. Like you have a fear, like, damn, I don't want to be, you fear the Lord, like, man, I don't want to be going off. I want to make sure I'm on point. I want to, which that's a good mindset to have, but then balance has to be applied as well in that mindset. Okay, because like I say, when you want to be over righteous, it comes from a place of sincerity. Some for the most part. You have some people, just overbearing, for show, trying to be over righteous for the show. But for the most part, as a believer, over righteousness comes from a place of sincerity and fear. You know, you have to balance that. You have to add balance to it. So we don't destroy ourselves, man. So let's go from there. All right, because you had, Yahweh Shai. Let's get this example. This is Luke 13:10. Okay. This is the book of Luke, chapter 13 and verse 10. All right, it's Luke 13 and 10. It says, "And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath," and this is Yahweh Shai. "And behold, there was a woman which had in spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift up herself. And when Yahushua saw her, he called her to him and said unto her, Woman, thou art loose from thine infirmity. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight and glorified the Most High. And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because Yahushua had healed on the Sabbath day, and said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them, therefore, come and be healed, and not on the Sabbath day." Okay? So you had, here it is, Yahweh Shai has healed the woman who had an infirmity, okay, for how many years it was. All right. So she had this 18 years. 18 years she had this infirmity, man. Okay, that she was dealing with. All right, and she finally came across Yahweh, and she was able to be healed. Okay, but then you had a ruler of a synagogue, Jake. Okay, his mindset is like, look, you could, it's a Sabbath. That could have waited. Tripping. Okay, because what the scribes and Pharisees pretty much had done, they had weaponized the law against the people and made it to be this unbearable burden, man. Okay, and the law wasn't made to destroy us, man. Okay, the law was made to establish order. Okay, to forward legacy. You see, but we are in these imperfect societies where we can't apply the law 100%. Okay, we rehearse the righteous acts, and we grow to love the law. Like we understand the law, like we like our intent. Like I say, we have a thirst for righteousness, man. Okay, but we have to understand that in this imperfect society, trying to be by the book and be technical, live by the technicalities of the law, we wouldn't be able to operate. We'll destroy ourselves, man. We wouldn't be able to function in society by trying to uh, uh, be perfect in the law. Okay, we have to move in the spirit. We apply the law as much as possible. We constantly learn and do what because one thing you gotta be skillful with keeping the law. You gotta keep the law like keeping the law is a skill. You can't just open the book and say, okay, step one, step two, step three. No, the Lord didn't intend for us to keep the law like that. The Lord intended us to keep the law, all right, and use it skillfully, man. Okay, the law it was for our benefit, man. Okay, but in these imperfect bodies, in this imperfect society, okay, trying to live, by every dot and tittle of the law, you'll destroy yourself. We'll destroy ourselves, man. Okay, and we have to understand these things. So these guys, I mean, this ruler of the synagogue, all right, I'm gonna read verse 15. He was trying to put Yahushua in the box of the law. He was trying to put miracles in the box of the law. Okay, he was trying to restrain Yahushua, to the restrictions of the law, and Yahushua was doing miracles, man. Okay, verse 15 said, the Lord then answered him and said, thou hypocrite, doth not each one of you on the Sabbath loose his ox or his ass from the stall and lead him away to water? And not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan hath bound, lo, these 18 years be loose from this bond on the Sabbath day. Okay? So Yahweh was moving in the spirit. And that's what he was pushing on the disciples. You got to move in the spirit. You're in captivity. You're not going to be, Yahweh his lot was to be perfect in the law, to be that perfect sacrifice, man. Okay? And when we look to that as a standard on how to be, okay, but we know it's not meant for us to keep every dot and every tittle of the law, man. Okay? Within this imperfect society. Okay? So Yahweh was telling them, guys, look, don't y'all, do good on the Sabbath? You know, don't you still, do things that will be considered okay a work, but these things have to be done. Okay. Oh, man. Yep. So Yahweh Shai, because there's certain things, you know, that will have to be done. Because when you're in captivity, you don't have sovereignty, man. Okay, so it's a lot of variables that you can't control. When you have sovereignty, you can control all the variables and you can create the circumstances to keep the law perfect. You know, but in captivity, you can't do that. Okay, they just say because me personally, I try not to work on the Sabbath as much as possible. And if I do, I make it a short day if possible. Okay, but is it going to be like that every single Sabbath in this captivity? Is that going to be that's the ideal? You want to try to be off, but is every brother in that situation, every sister in that situation? Okay, nah, man. Okay, let's say you off on the Sabbath. It's the brother he got an off day on the Sabbath. But it's the brother trying to move, and the only time he could get the U-Haul was on the Sabbath day, man. Okay, and then it's 70% off. U-Haul got 70% off. Some type of sale. You know, but it's the Sabbath. You off and he off, and he call you to help him. What you gonna tell the brother, man? It's the Sabbath. You know, what you gonna tell him? It's the only day he got off. Like he got to work 13 straight days after this, but he got to be out the apartment, in 3 days. So this the only day that he got. You off. You happen to be off. Okay, and he call you. What you gonna say? Okay, that's when you gotta apply the spirit. Of course, ideally, we would love to be off on the Sabbath, man. Okay, we would love to be able to apply these laws, man. To the best of our ability, as much as possible, man. But we got to move in the spirit because we in the imperfect society. We in captivity. Okay, so Yahweh Shai, he was teaching the disciples how to move in the spirit. Okay, don't utilize the law to hurt you. That's how you know when you're being over righteous, when you apply the law, but now this you applied this law in this situation, and now you create a ripple effect. All right, that's bad. Okay, here it is. You got $17 in your bank account. Okay, you got these certain bills due the next day. Okay, then you got you got $17 in the bank account with 8 pending charges. Okay, but you on the Sabbath, you just sitting there. Okay, so now you finna go on the overdraft. Bills finna overlap. Okay, when you could have went and made some money to handle that situation. Okay, that's how you know when you're being over righteous, when you try to plug in a law and it causes a ripple effect that's destroying your situation, man. Okay, remember we were becoming skillful in the law because like I used to coach little league football and I used to call plays. You can have the best playbook in the world, okay, with the best plays in it. All right. But you got to know when to call a certain play in certain situations. If it's third and 18, you can't call. It's a lot of plays that you can't call. It might be a good play, but you can't call that play in this circumstance. Okay? It's second and goal on the 3 yard line. It's certain plays that you can't call in this situation. It might be great plays, but you can't call it in this situation. You can't plug it in. Okay, and that's how we have to become skillful in the law. Okay, moving in the spirit, man. Okay, knowing the situation, man, and using wisdom in that particular situation. Okay, and we're all guilty. I know I'm guilty of being over righteous and trying to, you know, hey, we all guilty of that, man. Okay, but it comes from a place of sincerely trying to please the Lord, man. All right, but as we learn and mature, we have to apply balance. Okay, now let's go here to Galatians. All right, Galatians. All right, this Galatians chapter 5. Okay, verse 13. It says, "For brethren, you have been called into liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another." So let's read this in the NLT. Galatians 5 and 13 said, "For you have been called to live in freedom, my brothers and sisters, but don't use your freedom to satisfy your sinful nature. Instead, use your freedom to serve one another in love." Okay? So, as we been awakened to the truth, and we understand that, we're not under the penalty of the law, all right, which that gives us liberty to do particular things. We don't use that liberty as an occasion to the flesh. We use that liberty as an occasion to love and serve in the ministry, man. And we're gonna get some examples of that. Okay? And so as we, understand that okay, we're not under the penalty of the law, okay? That doesn't give us that shouldn't give us an occasion to wild out, man. Okay, so we still have restraints and a standard that we go by, okay? But we don't want to go too far in that way and restrict ourselves to where we're unprofitable. And like I say, we don't want to go too far to the left to where um now we're just destroying ourselves through the flesh. Because see, the main thing about this captivity is to tame the flesh. Okay? Tame the flesh. And the things and then when you move in the spirit, when you move in love for your brethren, you're by default, you're gonna keep, all right, the laws. You're gonna move according to the standard if you're moving in love. Okay? Verse 14, "For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Okay, because within moving in love, you're gonna look. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you're gonna fulfill a lot of the law by default. You're not going to commit adultery. You're not going to lie on your brother. Okay? You're not going to misuse a sister. Okay? Extortion. Okay? You're not going to do those things, man. You know, you're not going to be a talebearer. Okay? You're not going to steal. You see? You're not going to teach false doctrine. Why would you teach false doctrine to someone you love? Why would you set them up for their failure, man? Okay, so by default, just by love alone, you start keeping the law. Okay, so that's why there's an emphasis on love. That's why Yahushua said on these two hang the law. Love the heavenly Father with all our mind, spirit, and soul, which what prevents idolatry, prevents you from going after other deities and other gods. Like, nah, I'm gonna stick to this way. Okay, and love thy neighbor as thyself. Okay, and on them too, you can hang all the laws, man. And this is how we learn how to move in the spirit, okay, and not being restricted to, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. This is, the technicalities, man. Okay, which our standard, we have a standard that comes from, the technicalities of the law. All right, but it's a portion of it that we can keep in this society. Certain things that we can refrain from, and never do again, man. We don't never have to commit adultery. We don't never have to celebrate these wicked holidays. Those things we never have to do again. Okay, eating pork, shrimp, and lobster. We don't, you know, with those things that hey, we can stand on those things, man. But there's certain technicalities that we can't do. Okay, like I can't wear all cotton. I don't have on all one fabric right now. Okay? But guess what? I'm able to do this lesson in the spirit of Yahweh by Shema Shai, and that's acceptable, man. So I'm covered. The fact that I can't wear all one fabric right now, okay, which is breaking the law, but I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this labor of love, man. Okay? And under that, hey, I'm covered under Yahweh Shai. Okay? Just to give that example. Okay? So, reading on this, Galatians 5 and 15 says, but if you bite and destroy and devour one another, take heed that you be not consumed one of another. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, man, of the flesh. Okay, so we have to walk in the spirit, and we're not fulfilling the lust of the flesh because we in captivity where it's all about, we in this society, this imperfect society, where it's all about feeding your lust. Everything is about feeding your, is pretty much you fulfilling the appetite of the flesh in this society. Okay, but we're in the spirit, we're not doing that. Okay, we can be, just going crazy and chasing money and chasing women and getting drunk and partying, and the woman can, still be living a hot girl. But nah, when you in the spirit, you're not doing that. You're not you in the spirit. You're concerned with how you can be pleasing, all right, to the Lord, man. How you can be an asset to the ministry. Okay, moving in the spirit. So that keeps us away from the mindset of the flesh. Okay, why waste this money and resources on this when I can be putting this money and resources into the ministry, this time into the ministry? I don't have time to be caught up in all that, man. You know, those things I can put into the ministry. That's walking in the spirit. Okay, it said, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary one to another, so they can not do the things that ye would. So let's read this in the NLT. The sinful nature wants to do evil, which is the opposite of what the spirit wants, and the spirit gives us desire that are opposite of what the sinful nature desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other, so you are not free to carry out your good intentions. Okay, because the one thing about moving in the spirit is about doing the right thing in every situation, man. Good intentions. Okay, but the flesh wars against that. Okay, so as we move more in the spirit, all right, we begin to tame the flesh. All right, the flesh is always going to be there. Until we're changed, that flesh, that sinful nature is going to be there. All right, but we have to fight to stay in the spirit, because the law it's a certain spirit to be in the law. Because the Pharisees, they was trying to, use the law and you know, uh, uh, they was trying to be so technical in the law, but they weren't moving in the spirit of the law. Okay, it was rooted in love. Okay, verse 18 said, "But if you be led of the spirit, you are not under the law." All right, it said, going back to it, let's read that in NLT and explain in Galatians 5 and 18. But when you are directed by the Spirit, you are not under obligations to the law of Moses. Like, we gave the point, you know, like it's sisters that might have to go to work and they can't wear a dress. You see? But they believers, like when they go home, they put their dress on, they serving to their husband, or if they're single, they're saving themselves, for a man of the Lord, and they sincerely believe, but they had to go to a job where they have to wear pants. Okay, so here it is, they're moving in the spirit. All right, they're doing, they're keeping the law to the best of their ability. Okay, they're constantly learning and being edified. They're like I say, they're servants at the house, to their husbands. Okay, or say they're waiting, they're patiently waiting, on the man of the Lord. Well, guess what? They're in the spirit. So the fact that they gotta go to work and wear pants, they not obligated to the damnation that comes with that, man. Okay, so then once you gotta move in the spirit. You can't force them people to let you wear a dress. If you can, if you can talk and say my religion, if you can do that, you try that. But if it don't work, okay, you can't force them. You can't just show up with dresses because you want to. Okay, nah, man, you gotta move in the spirit in this imperfect society, man. Okay, and the Lord has everyone set up in their position that He wants them to be in. Now, I want to get some examples. Okay, because you go here. Let's get the Book of Acts. Another thing, you brothers, you sisters, as we've been awakened in Babylon, some of you, have certain status and certain, careers and businesses going. Don't feel like you gotta sabotage your situation, because you think you going off, man. Okay, we live in a society where, a lot of women, especially amongst uh, Jake, okay, well, the woman will make more money. The woman to have a certain position of authority. She might be a general manager somewhere, but now you're a believer because Esau set that up, for the woman to make more money. Okay, so the woman would have a lack of respect for the man. Okay, but if you've been converted in righteousness and you come back in a submissive order, that doesn't mean you have to go sabotage your situation, man. Okay, like that's as a woman, you don't want to do that. All right, because the Lord got particular, all right, brothers and sisters in particular for situations. All right, in particular situations, man. All right, for the forwarding of the church, man. You know. All right, now this is the book of Acts. All right, men and women. So we're gonna go to that. You know, it's the book of Acts, chapter 9. All right, verse 36. It says, "Now there was a certain, all right, there was at Joppa a certain disciple named Tabitha, all right, there's a woman, which by interpretation is called Dorcas. This woman was full of good works and alms, did she, all right, and alms deeds which she did." You read this in NLT. There was a believer in Joppa named Tabitha, which in Greek is Dorcas. She was always doing kind things for others and helping the poor. Okay, so when you keep reading, all right, about this woman that believed, she was known for her alms and deeds. Okay, and these are women that was in Roman society. In our custom, women could have businesses and do these different things. Okay, because their business was to keep house. And you have some sisters that's in that traditional role, but that's their role. And then you're gonna have some believing women that's gonna have different positions and things going on, all right, in this new Rome. It was happening in the old Rome. You gotta remember, all these spirits are back, man, in their life. Okay? The traditional women, they're back, in their life. All right, and then the women that was in society and had careers, but eventually believed, they're in their life, man. Okay, so reading on, it says Acts 9 and 37 says it came to pass in those days that she was sick and died, whom they had washed. Okay, when they had washed, they laid her in the upper chamber, and for as much as Lydda, all right, was not to Joppa, and the disciples had heard that Peter was there, they sent unto him two men, desiring him that he would not delay to come to them. Then Peter arose with them when he was come. They brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made while she was with them. Okay, so she was like a maker of clothes. She probably had, a business. Okay, well, she was a maker of clothes. Okay, and she was in a position to where she was able to help. Okay, and you go and read on. Eventually, Peter raised up from the dead. Okay, so the Spirit is using believers in different arenas of society for the forwarding of the church, man. Okay, and let's go on. Let's go here. Men and, like I say, men and women. This is the book of Acts, chapter 4. All right, verse 36. All right, and 4, I'm reading NLT. All right, this Acts 4:36. For instance, there was Joseph, the one the apostles nicknamed Barnabas, all right, which means son of encouragement. He was from the tribe of Levi and came from the island of Cyprus. He sold the field he owned and brought the money to the apostles' feet. So you had Jake, they had land, they had resources, man. Okay, everybody that was a believer just wasn't living, in the tent, with dust flying everywhere. Okay, you had believers that was movers and shakers in society. Okay, and that just was their life, but they believed, and then what they used, their position to show love, to show charity. Okay, let's go here. Um, even the book when you go to Cornelius. All right, this dealing with Cornelius, Acts 10 and 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band, a devout man, and one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to the Most High always. Now he was a centurion. Now a centurion in this time would be similar to a chief of police. Okay, like the chief of police in a certain town or city, he's a man with authority. A man with that had a nice salary. Okay, but he didn't sabotage his situation. Okay, nah, man, he utilized his situation to help. Okay, and the Lord would do that. You get the book of Luke, chapter 1. All right, and he had the same. This another centurion, Luke 7 and 1 says, now when he had ended all his sayings in the audience of the people, this Yahushua, he entered into Capernaum, and a certain centurion servant who was dear unto him was sick and ready to die. And when he heard of Yahushua, he sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him that he would come and heal his servant. And when they came to Yahushua, they besought him instantly, saying that he was worthy for whom he should do this. Okay, so read this in NLT, verse 7. It says, so they earnestly beg Yahushua to help the man. If anyone deserves your help, all right, he does, they said. So you had, you know, those of the circumcision, saying, you remember, he's a Roman centurion, okay? But he believes. That's why he's sending for Yahushua, because he believes, okay? Well, remember, this is like a chief of police summoning Yahushua, okay? And it says, verse 5, it says, for he loved our nation and he have built us a synagogue. So he utilized his resources because the centurions, they was paid a nice salary, you know? They was paid, they was up there, man. Okay? Equivalent, I had to go back into it, but like a few 100,000 a year. In this day's times, man, they had nice salaries, man, on the Romans. Okay? And he used it to do what, man? Build a synagogue. All right, to help, the nation. You see, so he was in this situation, not because you can't feel bad for being prosperous. One thing in the truth, you kind of like, now I'm prospering. Everybody, a lot, most of the people hurt. I make more than my husband. As a woman, you can have those thoughts, and as a man, you like, damn, I'm prospering. Like, and you in the camp, in the same camp. Some brothers, you know, hey, it's difference. It's differences, man. But you gotta remember, okay, I'm here for, okay, the Lord got me in this position, all right, to play a purpose, man, to fulfill a purpose that He wants, man. Because it's about what the Lord wants, man. Okay, and the Lord strategically got brothers, okay, and sisters in particular situation, man. All right, so let's get this in the book of Acts, um, chapter 16. Okay, it's the book of Acts, chapter 16, verse 14. And it says, and a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshiped the Most High, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. And when she was baptized in her household, she besought us, saying, if you have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us. Okay? So, as you read again on the NLT, Acts 16 and 15, she was baptized along with other members of her household, and she asked us to be her guest. If thou, it says, if you agree that I am a true believer in the Lord, she said, come and stay at my home. And she urged until we agreed. Okay, so it says she was a seller of purple, man, and that was an extremely lucrative business, man. When you go into um a seller of purple, okay, that was a top end. She was like a top end merchant, all right, and that purple was so high, okay. So you go here, I just looked it up and said, um why was purple an expensive color? It says to make the first purple shades, dye makers had to crush the shells of a species of a sea snail. Okay, so you had to fish out the snails, okay, crush them, all right. It said extract its purple mucus and then expose it to the sun for a specific period. The process made the color so scarce and expensive that wearing it was a symbol of status and wealth. And she was a seller of purple. So she was probably selling to the nobilities of Rome. Okay, the nobilities of the Roman Empire, man, or the higher ups. Okay, the families of wealth. So she but she was a believer. Okay, so she had a husband. She probably made more than him. Okay, but she was a believer. And then you had the situation with Timothy, right? His mother was a believer, but his father wasn't. Okay, so there was an imperfect situation, but the Lord was utilizing that, man. Okay, so we have to, remember these things and apply balance and walk in the spirit, and that was it, but it was other examples, you had certain believers in the book of Acts. You had men that was pro-councils of Rome, which there was a high government office in Rome, man, you know, like they like city officials, higher than mayors. Okay, well they was higher than what a mayor would be today, but they believed. Okay, they didn't have to abandon their post. Okay, they utilized those positions to forward the body. Okay, so just that's the point. I just want to bring that out. Because as we come into the truth, man, we can try to, you know, try to mimic something in the scriptures that's not possible for us to do. Or you try to sabotage the situation, okay, to try to make it fit, to a traditional way. But we're in an untraditional society, man, and we have to move in particular ways, still in righteousness, man. Okay? And we have to become skillful with this wisdom, man, skillful with the law. You know? It's not applied to our destruction, but to make it where it benefits us, where we can benefit the body, where we can benefit, the church, man, in whatever way, whether it's financially or freeing up, having more free time or whatever it is, you know. So, yeah, that's the point, Lord will you brothers, all right, and you sisters was edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing, salutation, and hopefully, shalom.